Alrighty, we are back. MVP podcast. We're looking down the barrel of about 20 more games of the NBA season, so the front runners are starting to pull ahead. We're going to talk about some contenders. Obviously, OKC, San Antonio, and Detroit. Any arguments there with them actually contending?
I think they're pretty much solidified as teams that you should be scared of.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. They're winning big games at the moment. But let's talk about some contenders off that list. So, in my personal opinion, I think Minnesota is a team that no one wants to see. Anthony Edwards has proven that he's an absolute dog and a true competitor. There are some troubling signs I was seeing in the past week where Anthony Edwards was arguing with his coach about taking shots or whatever and ended up taking it. But to me, it's Kobe mindset. And I like players like that. I like players that want to take over the game and not pass up the ball. LeBron. So when I look at Minnesota, I think the roster is actually constructed pretty well. Their bench is a little bit light, which hurts in the West especially. But I do think Minnesota could be that team. How are you looking at Minnesota's, obviously they have one of the hardest schedules left, but obviously they've already basically clinched playoffs. What are you looking for out of them?
I mean, I like them. I've always been an Ant fan, always been a Minnesota fan. I mean, granted, they're the team that's gone to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. They have that depth. They don't have the depth, but they have the same core guys that have been there a few years. Like you said, the depth is definitely scary. Something to be concerned about. I like them. I think, to your point, they have the second hardest remaining schedule, 22 games left. So I think it's going to be a real test to see how they compete. I mean, they got a lot of those top teams. They got Detroit for a few games. They got OKC. They got Boston. They got the Rockets, Denver, and Lakers all remaining, which are all the top teams currently in the playoff picture. So it'll be interesting to see.
And when you look at their schedule as well, I mean, right now they're right around with Denver, where they're in the spot where they can either be on both sides of the bracket.
Right.
So would you say their options are best on either the San Antonio side or the OKC side?
What do you mean?
Because obviously those are the 1 and 2, right? So you're either going to be playing one of those teams on that side of the bracket. Who do you think is kind of the easier schedule? I mean, you were talking about San Antonio. You're not as scared of them as you were OKC.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, I think San Antonio obviously got Wemby, and they got a good young core and Castle and a lot of those new guys. So they are a scary team, but I've also seen them lose some games I thought they should win.
Sure.
They lost to the Pelicans or something like that, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? Why did they lose that game? Granted, when you're playing, I mean, I get it, playing sports growing up. When you play lesser teams, you kind of don't come in with the same adversity or whatnot, but
as well as injury.
OKC's always going to be scary. I think they just got deeper in the trade deadline, adding a McCain.
Yep.
They just went toe-to-toe with the Detroit Pistons, and they were missing their top 6 guys. They were playing all their role players went toe-to-toe with the Pistons. I watched that game the other day. Pretty scary, pretty crazy, but I think generally speaking, 7-game series, I would take the Spurs over the OKC. I think OKC, given how deep they are, they can compete in 7 games and continuously night after night. That being said, I mean, the Spurs are on an insane win streak right now, so who really knows?
I completely agree. I think both teams are really deep. Mm-hmm. My problem is I don't think that Wembanyama will actually be able to stay healthy throughout all these playoffs. I think his workload will be far, far too much. Obviously, we've seen him do some freak of nature stuff, but when push comes to shove, he's not as physical as some guys in the paint. And I think that multiple 7-game series will take that life out of him moving forward. Most of the teams that win, we've seen have longevity. Mm-hmm. The Spurs have a great constructed roster, great bench, but without Wembanyama, they aren't that 2 seed. You know what I mean? That's their guy. They need him to perform at the top of the line for them to actually be able to win it all.
Yeah, I mean they did beat a pretty good Raptors team the other day, and Wemby only had 8 points. Mm-hmm. But then again, he had 6 blocks or something like that. So if you get it from him on one side of the floor, I think you're great as a Spurs fan.
But if he's not on the floor, it's that means that paint looks a lot different. You know what I mean? The Raptors no longer have 2 players in the paint guarding Wemby at all times, kind of thing, which opens up a lot of other stuff for other players.
Yeah, their next center is Cornette.
But who do you have coming out of the West? Who should be?
My contender is Denver.
Okay.
Personally. Which, I mean, I think there's a lot of pretty self-explanatory points there, given, obviously you got one of the best players, if not the best player in the league in Jokic. You got Murray, who's playing unbelievable right now, all-star caliber. Keeps stepping up his game. I mean, you always had those concerns of all right, he showed up in either the regular season or the playoffs, but never both. This year, he's been playing pretty well in the regular season, which has been Achilles heel for them. And so if he can continue that play,
they
with
have the
Jokic,
championship pedigree.
They do.
100%. They know how to win.
That same core group of guys that won the championship a few years back together. So it's like, I think they're looking pretty good. They got young guys and Christian Braun who stepped up, Peyton Watson who stepped up. They got that Julian Strother kid who's been having some unreal games this season out of nowhere. So I mean, it's going to be fun. Right now, they, like Minnesota, have one of the toughest schedules left. Barely, they have the toughest schedule left, barely above Minnesota. 23 games left. Again, they have the opponents like the OKC and the Spurs and the Rockets left. They play Minnesota head to head, which is going to be cool to see. So
I'll be honest though,
it'll be fun.
I'm a little nervous for Denver because obviously we've seen them be weak, and without Coach Mike Malone now, like the structure looks different. Yes, you have arguably the best player in the league with Jokic, so games are super winnable. But I saw that Mike Malone was their kind of saving grace, coaching-wise, scheme-wise, especially on defense. And without that coach, this team does look a lot different in the playoffs.
It is
yes,
a little different for
the
sure.
roster is winning games, and their coach is definitely their newest coach is definitely contributing to that. But Mike Malone, that firing was abrupt and I think uncalled for personally.
I didn't get it.
No,
really.
it didn't make sense. I know there was some controversy around it, but at the same time, like this team looks different. You know, this team is not the same team that won in 2023. So,
True.
You know, it'll be interesting.
You know, I do think they upgraded, though, and it might be controversial, but trading or switching out Cam Johnson for Michael Porter Jr.
Okay.
I think they upgraded there. Reason I say that is because I think they're both kind of the same player. They're that third option that can hit threes, can put up threes, can play great. But I think Porter Jr. turned the ball over a lot more than Cam 100%. Johnson does.
He was also taking some crazy shots. And we've seen it now on the Nets where he has the green light.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, he doesn't pass the rock very much. So I think that is also a huge plus that is going to be interesting to see how that comes together in the playoffs this year. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, you got Tim Hardaway, who's that vet. It's a good team. That's my team that I think can make a splash. But I think also opposite of the Timberwolves, I have them matching up better against OKC than I do against the Spurs. Because I think with Jokic, he's not the greatest defender necessarily. And so if you have a Wemby that can just kind of take him and kind of put up more points, I think that's a lot harder or a lot better of a matchup than going against the Harkenstein and the Chet of the OKC team. So it's like, I mean, I think we'll see.
When I look at the East, especially, obviously Detroit has proven themselves they could be a contender. They got a great young core. I think they'll contend for multiple years. But when I look at the rest of it, I'm like, I don't see a team that could make it to the finals and actually win it against any of these Western teams. That being said, my contender on that side, apart from Detroit, is Boston. I think that Boston, coaching-wise, scheme-wise, could beat anybody in the East. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like the staggering drop-off between Detroit and the next team up, which is Boston at the moment, is like there is a drop-off. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
I'm a Boston hater. I hate
what
Boston,
do you not like about him?
I mean, I've always been a Boston hater.
Okay, that's the LA fan. That's the West Coast team.
I mean, for me, I think Tatum was such a big part of that team.
For sure.
But it is also like flip side of that coin is they're doing very well without him. And it's pretty crazy. But to your point, it's like it's a very light East. The East, in my opinion, is not very strong, not very crazy. Like
what does it say about Tatum? Because obviously his rehab's going well, he's probably on steroids, but his rehab's going well. If they're healthy and they're moving through like the second round and he can come back but chooses not to, what does that say about him?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if it's as much him, and I think the flip side would be more so look how good Jaylen Brown is.
Sure.
They traded and got rid of a lot of pieces this offseason and in the trade deadline. Like, they don't have Al Horford anymore. They got rid of Porzingis. Right? Yep. Porzingis was on the team last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was last year. And so it's like, I think just seeing how well Jaylen Brown is leading that team and doing well. Granted, I think they're one of the best coached teams in the league, which I think you said that. Or
I agree.
Like they have one
right
of the
now.
best
I
coaches.
think they have the best coach in the league
for sure. So I mean, it's obviously it's a scary team. They got a great culture, great city. It's like you can never kind of count out Boston, ever. But
do you have anybody else in the East that you think
for me, it's the Sixers personally.
The Sixers.
I love the 76ers. I mean, they started out the year a little shaky and then picked up. A couple months ago, they had some crazy game stretches where they win 5, 6, 7 in a row. Obviously, I think a lot of that depends on how healthy they stay. But if you have a Joel Embiid who's had a lot of really rough years, this year has kind of taken another step up. been able to be that good center, been able to control the ball. Tyrese Maxey's freaking unbelievable.
See, what I have to say about the Sixers, though, is they have two of the worst playoff chokers in the entirety of the NBA in Joel Embiid and Paul George.
Sure.
These guys don't show up in the playoffs whatsoever. And when they do show up, they get injured by the second round. And it just completely disassembles the team. I don't think Tyrese Maxey, well, I mean, in the East, there's a potential. If this team was in the West, there's no potential Tyrese Maxey could carry this team as far as they're going.
That's why
I like the young guy like VJ Edgecombe. He's showing me some cool stuff. But in general, bro, like Kelly Oubre's not getting it done. Like, if that's your fourth, fifth option, I mean.
The reason why I say them is like if that big three can play in a 7-game series, it's a little scary.
In the East,
they got good defense in the East. Yeah, in the East.
Yeah,
that's why I think like for sure they can compete with those teams. They can make it out. If they have to match up against Detroit early, it's going to be rough for them, I think. But if they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals without having to play Detroit, I think they're kind of a team that could be like good, and I think we could see a good series between them and Detroit in a 7-game series.
Okay,
Detroit's good. I still think like they're my all for sure. They're going to the finals. I've already put money down on them to win the finals and even make it. They're my Eastern Conference team for sure. But I mean, if Tyrese Maxey plays at the All-Star level he's been playing, and you get Joel Embiid, who's finally healthier than he's been in the past, playing now, it's an interesting team to me. It's a very, very interesting team. But that's my.
I want to talk about some of our pretenders, like with how open the East is. How is the Knicks not in the conversation at all? Like the Knicks look terrible. Like, to be completely honest, Cat does not fit in with this team. The same problem that's happening in Minnesota is now taking place in New York, where he's only taking 5 shots a game now. Like, I watched one where he put up 6 points and only took 5 shots, and other guys on that team like are taking shots that they definitely should not be. But at the same time, like, this team on paper should work. They should be contenders.
For sure.
And their record is still reflecting a decent team that's obviously going to make playoffs. But I could see them getting not swept, but almost a gentleman's sweep in that first round. I mean, if Jalen Brunson's not dropping 35 to 40 points a game, the New York Knicks are screwed. Plain and simple. And I think that Cat is gone this offseason. I don't know what his contract looks like, but if he's up, I don't think they're re-signing him for the money that he's going to ask. Or I think they trade and try to pick up like a star like Giannis or whatever because they need front court guys.
But I mean, I think they definitely have a high ceiling of like potential, but they also have a very low floor. They could crumble real fast. I mean, they played, if I'm not mistaken, they played the Pacers last year in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, yep.
And they kind of got like dog walked a little bit. Good series for sure, but it was like some of those games I'm like, you guys should be killing these guys. If you look at it, the Pacers are the worst team in the East.
Granted, everyone thought the Pacers should be dog walked in every series they were in.
They did,
and they just kept finding ways to win. But last year felt like it's the Knicks year. This year specifically felt like it is the Knicks year. You made the acquisitions. You have your coaching staff. Why isn't it working now?
And I mean, they're still third in the East, so it's quote unquote working. But there is still some doubts with like obviously teams they played and losses they had this year of like why are you losing that game? There's no need for you to lose that game, which has hurt them a lot. Let's see, where's their schedule? They have a pretty light schedule remaining, but I mean you are going to see some good. Like they do got to play Boston the rest of this year, and they got to play OKC and the San Antonio. So it will be interesting to watch those games specifically and see, okay, now you're playing the teams that are quote unquote the contenders and the teams that people think can win this thing. How do you match up against them? What can you do? But 7-game series is a lot different than one game during the year.
True.
That's the biggest. That's I think the biggest X factor in everything we're talking about is like how can these teams either compete in a 7-game series from a pretender standpoint or from a contenders standpoint, being able to like beat a team that might be quote unquote better than them on paper or better than them record wise, but now you got to go play 7 games consistently against that team who can change their scheme better, and like that's where I mean it probably goes to coaching. So your Boston point was great. Like you got to play a 7-game series against a really good coach, and Joe Mazzulla, he's going to
and play small ball. It's like they don't have that defense.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean that's I think where OKC has the edge too, because OKC played that game against Detroit with none of their top stars, and their coach figured out a way to get them in that game with minutes remaining, and they only lost by I think 4 or 5 points, whatever it was. But yeah, it's very interesting. I mean,
so who right now is the biggest pretender in the NBA playoffs for you?
biggest contender for me is Cleveland, personally. I don't love Cleveland. I think they have a good core of guys. They have a really good team on paper, but I think when you put it all together, like I've been watching them a little bit, it hasn't really been working the way I thought it was going to work since the trade deadline with Harden.
Granted, I was about to ask you. I mean, as a Clipper fan, you see one of your stars go to Cleveland. That doesn't move you?
Not really. Not really. I mean, I've watched Harden very close this year because I had the luxury of having him on my fantasy team. So I've been kind of able to see his stats throughout the year. And I mean, I haven't seen him play to the same level that he's played all year long with the Clippers yet. And then now he's hurt. Also, I think Harden's kind of had a curse on him personally since leaving Houston. He's never really been a guy that can make it far in the playoffs, do anything crazy, make a splash like you would think given the teams he's been on and the stars he's played with.
And then he quits on the team.
Yeah, and he quits on the team. He's kind of a lackluster defender. If something like he'll play hard on defense if things are going well for him on offense.
Yes.
But as soon as he starts missing some shots or he's kind of turning the ball over, forget it. He's just going to start reaching. He's not going to play well. I just think like if the Cleveland team to me was more of a contender before they traded for Harden. Because I think if you're taking the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hands, it's not going to be as beneficial for you as when they had it in his hands. That two-man game with him and Mobley was nuts. Like they were playing really good ball. If they can figure it out with Harden, I will eat my words in a few weeks and be like, all right, maybe it's a contender team. But as of right now, given what's going on and kind of what's happening with their team, I just think they're a team that's going to be in the conversation, get a good seed, have a home playoff team. But like I don't know.
I'm a little more optimistic than you on Cleveland. I think that the change from Harden to Darius Garland, just distributing wise, is low key the same. Like that's the guy who's going to bring up the ball and run a pick and roll really well. But Harden can score. But you're right. It's mentality over and chemistry over what Harden actually brings to the table. Mm-hmm. We've seen in the playoffs he gives up on teams and then immediately asks for a trade. And I don't know the exact situation. I don't think he actually requested a trade out of the Clippers.
No,
he did officially request a trade.
He started to talk. Yeah, there was.
So going to Cleveland, it moves me more than where Cleveland was standing before they had Harden. But at the same time, I don't see them winning a 7-game series against Boston or against Detroit, whatsoever. I do have them as a dark horse because if Harden can finally figure it out on a team, that team is very dangerous.
Sure, it's ridiculous.
But we've said that before with either the Nets or with the Clippers. It's like Harden's either not available because he's injured or he absolutely crumbles and shoots like 10% from the floor and loses that game in crunch time.
Yeah.
I
think that team, it's just hard for me to see that team being great because I think the two biggest strengths of a Donovan Mitchell and a James Harden are when the ball's in their hands and they have that little two-man pick and roll game and then can pop out to a shooter if they need to.
Sure.
But if you're taking the ball out of one of those guys' hands, they're not as great efficiency-wise on just having to kind of play off the ball. Because I know Harden doesn't like to play off the ball.
No.
He showed that on the Clippers. He doesn't love that. Donovan Mitchell, I think, to me, has a better, more of a personality that's like, hey, I'm willing to do what's best for the team and compete, which I think is a saving grace there. But it's like when he's had the ball in his hands at the beginning of the season and played that 2-game with Mobley, it was working so well. I mean, they had one of the best records in the league all year long. They've been playing great. Kind of falling off a little bit. I don't see him. I think it's the same kind of conversation of now you're looking at a 7-game series against somebody in that Eastern Conference, and I don't think they can win that. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be able to compete if they stay healthy. Maybe a different conversation, but you got some older guys that have injury worries. Last year they lost Darius Garland early in the playoffs and lost to the Pacers in the second round. So it's like there's been all these questions of okay, you were the 1 seed last year going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
the team to beat fell in the second round to an Indiana Pacers team who everybody thought should be walked easy. Ended up going to the finals. You can talk about that, whatever. But so it'll be interesting. I mean, I like the Cavs a lot, but I don't love kind of what's going on right now with some of the decisions they've made and the possible matchups they're going to see in the playoffs.
So to that same point, that's exactly how I feel about Houston this year.
Yep.
Houston, on paper, seems like a good team that could win. They have a good coach. They have all this and that. But then when I watched them play Orlando the other night, it took a 40 ball from KD to win by essentially 1 bucket.
Yep.
And when I look at their defense, when I look at their rotation, it's really just that starting lineup, and only 2 guys can really get a bucket. If Reed Shepherd's hot, that team looks different. But in the playoffs, a Reed Shepherd is not going to cut it as a third option he needs to be a guy off the bench that is a spark plug. You know what I mean? But when I look at
when you say that,
Sengun,
who are your two guys, Sengun and KD?
Sengun and KD are the only guys that really can score. Like obviously, you can make the case that Thompson is the third option, but at the same time, like he's either really hot or really cold, and the hot and cold comes directly from the coaching and the scheme. Like either they're going through him and drawing up plays and getting him open, or KD's just taking over the ball, playing a lot of ISO game and scoring a lot. But they're really only winning when KD is playing that kind of ball. And we've seen the chemistry problems from KD are still very much alive in Houston. Obviously, all the Twitter file stuff. Like, I don't know how much this team wants to see KD win.
Yeah,
obviously they want to win, but like when you talk about your franchise player, like Sengun is a mini Jokic, and he's doing everything except playing defense. And in the West, with all these really good bigs, I don't see Sengun holding up in a 7-game series like Jokic would, where they have a power forward that could really help out, like Aaron Gordon. I mean, they have Jabari Parker Smith or whatever his name is.
Jabari Parker.
I can't remember his name. But, like, that is not the same thing. Like, he's not blocking the shots that Sengun is missing. Jabari Parker Smith.
Whoever that guy is. Yeah, I mean, I would argue a little bit against that and just say, like, if you have an Amen Thompson who's playing at an elite level, like we've seen, he can change a game very quickly.
Sure.
He's a pretty good young point guard, playing pretty well. Jabari Smith has had a few good games recently where he's put up numbers, but he hasn't been consistent. So, like, I'm with you on them kind of being a pretender. But if you can get, like, across a 7-game series, if you can get 5 games and have one of those guys kind of go off, like a Reed Shepherd have a crazy game, a Jabari Smith have a crazy game, or a Thompson have a crazy game for a couple games, or even maybe 2 of them at a time, they might be able to steal a couple games and get out of there with a win. I mean, for sure, at home, I see them playing pretty well. They're 20-7 at home. They've just struggled on the road. So if they can steal a game on the road, we'll see what happens.
So let's talk about like the stat leaders on Houston, because obviously Kevin Durant's leading the team in points. No surprise there. Sengun's leading in rebounds. No surprise there. The real surprise and the thing that's missing from this team is a point guard. Without Fred VanVleet, this team looks a lot different. When your leading assist guy is Sengun, your team is not where it should be. Like, yes, you can facilitate through like a Jokic, but Sengun is not facilitating the same way. I mean, he's averaging 6.4 assists a game, and that's great numbers for a big. But where is your point guard? Like, Reed Shepherd's not distributing because he's not bringing the ball up like that. He's almost a spot-up shooter in a sense. It's going to do a lot of the dirty work like Dellavedova would. Yeah. But Sengun, I'm not trusting him when the bigs in the West will take away that first option in the paint with Sengun. KD will get his, but if Sengun does not get his, then that team is losing the game.
Sure. I mean, and that's to my point. I think you're going to need one of those other guys to step up and
100%
get some points for sure. But
100%.
Yeah, they definitely don't have like a key. Their point guard situation is definitely messed up, and VanVleet's not going to be back. There's a slim chance he's back for the playoffs, but that's probably going to be round 2 if they make it there. Maybe round 3, but obviously they're not. What's your likelihood you're going to want to put him in the lineup that's been playing all year and you just came back off injuries? He's not going to be the same player, I don't think yet. But it should be interesting. I mean, I think. For sure, the playoffs are very fluid in my mind this year, or like the NBA is. There's not, besides those big 3 we talked about in OKC, the Spurs, and then Detroit, every other team, it's like, all right, maybe this or maybe that.
They're dark horses that could easily be eliminated. It's like,
yeah, there's so many question marks along them. And I mean, I think for me, that goes into my kind of pretender in a way, and it's not really necessarily a pretender because they're not necessarily a pretender because they're 6th right now is the Lakers. I mean, granted, everyone was like, "Oh, Lakers are going to be great. They got LeBron, they got Luka, they just picked up Ayton, and like they've showed signs of being good." But like, I don't think you can win with LeBron now. It's not going to happen. He's too much of a stat pattern, too much of a ball hog. You know, all points are probably going to reiterate.
As a Laker fan, I wholeheartedly agree.
It's just they just haven't been great. They're very average. You know, they're 34-24 right now, so it's very average. They're 6th. They're going to have to go on the road right now and most likely play a. Who do they play? They play, if things sit the way they sit, they got to go play Houston, which will be an interesting series.
You don't have to you do not have to sugarcoat it. The Lakers suck. The Lakers are terrible. And all these people, like, I'm a Laker fan, and I get to hear it all the time from these people that want to say, like, oh, on paper, the Lakers should look good. What are you talking about? When our our big 3 is LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, we have 0 defense. Oh, and who's anchoring our defense? DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? The bench is horrible. Yes, we have a good record because Luka is dropping 40 like every other game in the first stretch of this season. But it's like LeBron is the worst teammate I've ever seen this year. Like, he is stat padding. He's cherry picking. He's doing everything he can to look good on highlights and nothing else. He's not contributing to the wins. And people want to point out that one game where he gave up his 10-point streak for a game winner. It's like, cool, that was one game. Look what he's doing every other game. He's actually getting mad at teammates for stealing his rebounds, for stealing his assists, not shooting the ball when he passes it to him so he can stat pad even more.
Yeah. Did you see that clip of him where he made them play 4-on-5 defense?
Yes, bro, because he was just cherry picking.
Well, yeah, he thought he got a steal and ran down the court and then just stayed up there. And they got 2 or 3 other rebounds during that possession, and he just never came back. It's hilarious. I also saw, funny thing, I don't know if you saw this, but DeAndre Ayton in the locker room was talking to his teammates. Have you seen this? Where he's like, I ain't no Clint Capella or whatever. Like, I'm not going to be that good. And I don't remember who said it. Somebody else came out and was like, bro, what are you talking about? You got 2 of the best distributors in the NBA.
Clint Capella said that. Clint Capella added him on social media and said, you have 2 of the best distributors in the NBA.
What are you talking about? Just go do something.
Also,
which is a good point.
The Lakers brought Ayton in to essentially play as Clint Capella. Catch lobs, get rebounds, and play defense. If he was doing those 3 things, the Lakers would look a lot different because on defense we would look different. But at the same time, like, you want to take all these floaters. You want to take all these mid-ranges. You look like a lost child out on the floor. Yeah. Another reason, too, is LeBron not playing defense, stat padding, doing all that stuff. It's like, if you want to do that coming off the bench, fantastic. We've seen how it works with, like, Russ coming off the bench for, like, the Clippers last year, for the Kings this year. It's like, go get your stats against scrubs because that actually helps the team win the game. But if you're starting, you're literally just a hindrance. You can get whatever stats you want, but we keep losing the games because of you. I mean, the Lakers are on a 10 or a 3-game loss streak now because LeBron is either taking a game off. We've seen every back-to-back now, he either is not playing or he's playing like 15 minutes. And if the back-to-back is against someone actually good, like against San Antonio earlier this year, he just sits out. He just doesn't care. It's like, I'm so sick of paying this guy max contract kind of money for a non-max contract kind of player. Yeah. It's solely because people are too obsessed with LeBron. For lack of a better word, they're bronzexuals. They're so obsessed with just the aura around him that they're not seeing that this guy is the hindrance of our team. If the Lakers actually want to win, we rebuild around Luka completely. We ship off everybody. We get more draft capital because we have nothing for the next 2 years. Yeah. The Lakers will get no one in the draft for a while. It's like, we need to get rid of everybody, try to trade for or sign a major player, and just rebuild around the draft. I just don't see it happening. They're going to get bounced first round. If they even make it, they might get bounced in the play-in because they're only 2 games back.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone 5-5 over the last 10. They have not a good home or away. I mean, they're 16-12 at home, which is crazy.
Like, I would not be surprised if they get into the play-in as the 7th seed and lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, right now the plan is the Suns, the Warriors, the Blazers, and the Clippers. So it's like you're probably looking at the Suns and the Warriors as the 2 best teams out of those 4 for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want to see the Blazers, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't want to see the Warriors in a 1-game series. In
Warriors
the
are.
I mean, they're not great, but they still are.
They still have Steph Curry.
And they just got Porzingis though.
That does not move me.
I mean, that's a good. They had no center before, which I think helps a lot. They have Horford too. I guess they have Horford. That was their center, but it doesn't move me. But I think it's an interesting play.
Draymond's getting ejected. There's no question. Steph will go for 50, and they might squeak out a win, but they have no one. I mean, like, I'm not scared of Pods, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if he plays the way he's been playing this year, like, I'm not scared of that team at all.
I do have a question for you, because I think this is an interesting team in my mind, is the Milwaukee Bucks. So, the last 10 games are 8-2. I want to say they're like 10-2 or 9-3 since the trade deadline. They didn't do anything crazy. Obviously, they kept Giannis. Giannis has been hurt. He's missed a couple games, but they picked up Cam Thomas. They're sitting right now a game and a half out of the play-in. 2 games, game and a half out of the play-in, 6 games out of the 6th seed. So there's like a lot of teams that can move around in there. You're looking at the Hornets, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Magic that are above them. All teams that have been kind of mid so far. Do you see them either, one, making the play-in or making the playoffs? And then how do you see them kind of performing if they do anything. If not, granted, they still got a Giannis. They've been a top team in the East for the past few years. How do they look? What's your opinions on that?
So the Bucks did something smart where they are playing damage control because they know they're probably losing Giannis. Mm-hmm. That being said, this young core is hungry. They're all on low contracts. They all have something to prove. The coach is actually going through them. They're not fighting. Yep. So they're buying into the system, and they're playing well. You know what I mean? Like, they're all young guys that are hungry. It reminds me of the Nets from a couple of years ago where it's all guys that need a contract kind of thing. They all have good chemistry, all this and that. That being said, Giannis coming back could be great for them. You know, like, I obviously think that they could win a game with Giannis on the floor. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league.
Sure.
But if I'm them, I'm probably not even playing Giannis in the play-in. I think that if they make it, they lose, they get a better draft position, they rest Giannis so they don't risk injury, and then they ship him off this year. You know, so they kind of cut their losses for the season. They go into a rebuild. They have a good young core. But in general, like, I'm not moved by them. In the East, sure, like, there's a lot of teams that all just seem like playing teams anyways. So all of them could get a win. They could make the legit playoffs just by winning a few games.
Right.
But at the same time, like, they're getting bounced first round no matter what. Yep. Giannis is back or not. Because if they come in at the 8th seed, they're playing Detroit. They come in at the 7th seed, they're playing Boston. It's like, it's just not likely that they really do anything in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think they just cut their losses.
I think to me it's just interesting to see, like, let's see, what's their remaining schedule? I don't think they have a very hard remaining schedule. Yeah, they're 23rd remaining schedule, so they don't have a super tough schedule. So to me, it's interesting. It's like, if they can string together a few good wins while other teams are losing, they could sneak up into possibly a 6 seed. That's 6 games away. It's kind of a lot. With 20 games left, though, it's possible. And I mean, if they sneak in there, they're looking at a New York Knicks team first round that we said is kind of iffy. Like, it's an interesting team to me, just given kind of their recent success. Obviously, if this recent success falls off, they start losing, then it's not going to happen. But to me, they are a team that I could see at least making the play-in, and who knows what happens there. But you do have a good point. Obviously, if you're going to play a Pistons team or a Celtics team, you're not.
Yeah, they're just going to get wiped, and they risk injury to a guy like Cam, you know, who you're not necessarily going to franchise the guy, but at the same time, like, that's a great young piece that you don't want to lose to injury. You don't want to lose Giannis right before you're going to get rid of him.
Right.
It's like, I don't see a whole lot of point of them really pushing to get in. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't like the idea of tanking at all anyways, but
I hate taking.
I want to talk about some of the most surprising teams this year. Obviously, we got to talk about the Hornets. Detroit honestly surprised me a lot. But those two, when they played each other, was one of the most entertaining games I've ever seen. Isaiah Stewart loves to fight, and that bench clearing brawl was hilarious. Like, obviously, there's going to be no love lost, and I'm praying that they meet each other in the playoffs. I still think Detroit will squash them, but I would love to see some magic from the Hornets in this play-in tournament. They got a great young core. If they could stay healthy, I mean, I like them. They're fun to watch, which I think has been missing from a lot of teams. Like I said earlier, this team actually reminds me a lot of that D'Angelo Russell, like, Nets team from, like, 2019. That was just a ton of fun to watch. Great chemistry, young guys who are very marketable. Like, LaMelo Ball is all over social media. That young kid Kneppel, the rookie, he's been playing. He's been balling. He's been a ton of fun to watch. I was super surprised at how they're doing. But even when you look at their record, I mean, they're 10th.
Yeah.
So all the hype around them, like, is a little bit fabricated, especially in the East. Like, they should not be 10th the way they're playing. But
well, I mean, I understand it. I mean, given how young they are still and trying to figure things out, and a lot of their, like, guys that are getting good minutes are newer to the NBA, so you got to go up against vets, and it's a little difficult. But they are definitely a surprise team. They won 19 games last year, so they're already 10 games above that with 20 games left. Who knows what's going to happen? That, to me, is just a crazy turnaround by that franchise. They've been a bottom 100% team for a long time. It's fun to see them kind of get a little bit of success for sure.
It's great to see Charles Lee, the head coach out there. He's been playing well. I mean, like, obviously he came in.
The head coach has been playing well.
Yeah, he has been playing the game well. He came in 2024 and has changed this entire culture around a lot more than people were expecting. Obviously, it's hard to manage some of the egos here. Like you have guys like Miles Bridges who keeps getting into legal trouble.
Yeah, what the hell?
But the team keeps bringing him back, and obviously he's been with the team for a while as an assistant coach. But this is his first year as a head coach of the Hornets, and I mean we've seen some progress from them. It's cool to see a team like this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
So when you look at other surprising teams, who are you looking at?
I mean, I'm looking right now, just kind of looking back at the past few years and kind of where the standings are. It's pretty crazy to think 2 years ago, Detroit was the 15 seed and the Spurs were the 14 seed. And now that's the 1 and 2 or 1 and possibly going to be 1 respectively in the NBA, which is crazy. Really cool to see those rebuilds. But this year, I don't know. I mean, I've been a big Hawks fan this whole year. I mean, I just love Jalen Johnson. I think he's playing pretty well, but obviously they've had their injuries and they've had their times, and they're sitting at the 9th seed right now, so it's nothing crazy. It doesn't move me very much. I personally wish the Warriors were doing better because I think it'd be cool to see Steph have some good years. Cause I think he's almost out. I feel like Draymond's gone this offseason.
He needs to be.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's generally the same few teams you're seeing up there in the East. It's the Celtics, the Knicks, the Cavs. That are all kind of
the
up there.
Raptors, though.
The Raptors are a good team, man.
The Raptors
have been fun to watch.
The roster reconstruction in the past 3 years has been wild.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a single same starter that they did 3 years ago,
No.
and they're playing well. And it's a weird hybrid small ball thing because they have a lot of like big shooting guards essentially playing like the 1 through 4.
Yep.
And it's like so they have a fun looking defense, a fun offense, and some guys that could really ball out and get you some points with Brandon Ingram. Like I've always been a big Brandon Ingram fan.
I like the eye.
So it's good to see that he's getting
Scotty Barnes is fun to watch.
Yeah, for a different reason.
He's fun. I mean, he just is like quirky, but he's fun to watch.
He is.
They got Grady Dick over there, my favorite jersey trader.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy to watch.
No.
I mean, even like I would say like actually unfortunate, but RJ Barrett has not been living up to the hype obviously that he had coming out of college.
No, I mean that entire Duke team didn't. I mean, you look at really Zion. Zion has been the biggest disappointment for a first overall pick since probably Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
It's like every single time it seems like he comes back. I shouldn't even say it's like Markelle Fultz because when Zion is on the floor, he looks like an absolute monster.
Sure.
He looks like
now
he
that
can
he's lost
go
weight and like actually been doing better. But
he loses weight and then gains it back midway through the season and then gets injured.
Yeah.
And it's like when he's on the floor, he's still a absolute monster that no one wants to guard, but he's never healthy. He has clearly some things on the side with all these like Instagram hoes and porn stars and stuff. And it's like if he could just get it together, I think he needs to go to like the Heat. If he goes
a trade
to the
for
Heat,
him would be big. A trade for him would be big.
The Heat need help, first of all, but he needs to go to a place where there's a culture in place of not only winning, but maintaining your body and maintaining your team. I think at New Orleans, there's too much looseness.
They don't have really a team at all. Like their centers right now are Hunter Dickinson, who I've never heard of, DeAndre Jordan, who's way too old, and then you got
they have Derek Queen.
Oh, they do have Derek Queen.
Derek Queen's been fun to watch.
I mean, he's been doing.
He plays old man ball.
Yeah. I mean, but just like your other players, like a Jordan Poole, who obviously we saw how bad he's been since he left Golden State. I am a big DeJounte Murray fan. I think he's a really good player, but he's been hurt. Hasn't played at all this year. He just came back. So it's like they don't really have a good team. They got Sadiq Bey, who's been kind of balling. They got Trey Murphy, who's been kind of doing something. But it's like you're never going to get that team to compete with some of the other contenders in the big names right now. So it's like this team's got to probably go into a rebuild. I don't know what their draft capital is looking like right now. I'm sure
let's talk about Zion is in his third year of a 5-year, 197 max rookie extension.
He signed a 5-year extension there. Wow, they got to trade him.
And yeah, like how much? But no one's taking that contract because of the fact that he doesn't play. And you've seen.
Could he reconstruct that?
It's incentive based anyways because they put specific things into the contract about his weight and conditioning. Right. Where if he can play a certain amount of games, he keeps getting more money, but that doesn't seem to move him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem to still want to get that healthy.
I mean, I just don't think he's got the motivation there. You know, you're like
no, he's made his money
New Orleans,
right from the
rip. You're not in a
rip.
great place that people really want to be. I mean, I think obviously with him getting healthy now and losing weight and seeing how he can play when he's at that better weight and knowing how good he was in college, for him, if he got traded to a better market and got put in a good situation,
that's what I'm saying. The
he
Heat,
could
bro.
be a freaking
He needs to go to the Heat. The Heat has fixed
He could be a
people with
beast.
egos, people with like weight issues and stuff. Like I think the Heat or the Warriors would be a great spot for him.
Where are the Heat right now in the standings?
The Heat are not doing well. No, they're not. They're low-key tanking. They're in 8th right now.
Well, they're still contenders.
But they're contenders.
Hey, or not contenders. I mean, they're still playoff bound. Hey, real quick, little shout out to Norman Powell, first year All-Star as an ex-Clipper. I think he deserves that. He should have been an All-Star last year on the Clippers.
I guess.
Sure. I mean, he was balling last year.
But I mean, it wasn't his All-Star a complete like reserve thing this year.
No, he actually he was picked to be an All-Star.
He was a first ballot All-Star.
He was a first ballot All-Star. Yeah, he was on there. He wasn't one of the replacements. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how to feel about that.
People were arguing that he should have been All-Star last year, which I agree on because he was a key piece of that Clippers team last year. That I don't know why we got rid of him.
He played great last year.
I don't know why we got rid of him, but I just
he was a reserve. He was a reserve for Team World.
Well, he was a reserve, but he was a first ballot All-Star. He wasn't a starter, but he was chosen to the All-Star team right away. Oh no!
No, that's not what a reserve. He replaced somebody. Because I was gonna say, there's no way a guy averaging like 23 points is getting a first ballot.
I think he's
All-Star
like
thing.
24, 25.
It says 23 right here.
Really?
It's 23.
Well, I mean, I still think he's been playing well. Just a quick shout out, Damn,
I agree with
my freaking shout out, dude.
I agree with it. Like, I'm happy for him. He's 32. He's starting to get up there, but he's reaching his golden years. Like the past 3 years, he's really been balling.
Yeah.
He's a champion, right? With the Raptors. Yeah, he won that chip on the Raptors. Came to LA with Kawhi. I mean, obviously not a ton to show for it, but it is what it is.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Let's talk about the Clippers more. Because me and you got into it earlier before we started recording here about I mean, who isn't? Let's be honest here. The trade deadline winners and losers. I 100% believe that the Clippers lost this trade. Yeah, you could argue, they're building for a young core or whatever, but a healthy Clippers team looked like they could potentially contend. I mean, obviously you guys had that massive 24-game win streak or whatever it is to come back, and everyone was happy because then you wouldn't give OKC the pick.
Yeah,
but then everyone kind of got nervous too, where it's like, oh, they could actually be dangerous. We all know how Kawhi is. Kawhi, when he's healthy, is a top. He's a top 3 player in the league. The problem is he's never healthy, but this year he looks the healthiest he's been in a long time since 2020. I didn't want to see the Clippers in the playoffs, especially with Zubac and with Harden, but both those guys are gone now, and you're almost happy about it.
I mean, personally, for me, it's like when I look at where we've been this year and what's happening, it's like nothing was working when we had those guys. We started the season terrible. We went on a good streak for a little bit, sure. Kind of fixed it, kind of rewrote our losses, but we still were not in the conversation of where I thought we should have been coming into the season. We just weren't there. And so for me, you're trading a 36-year-old Harden for a 26-year-old Darius Garland, Garland to me is an all-star. He can play at a high level. He's a good player. He's now on a good team with some young talent that's up and coming. I don't personally love that we got rid of Zubac because I think Zubac was one of the best centers in the league and he's playing at a great level. But I kind of get it from a standpoint if you have this guy that can return you a ton of draft capital and a ton of money that we just got to write off. So we have a bunch of cap space now going into this offseason. For me, it's when you look at the overall picture, we needed to go get picks, given we're a very mid-level team right now. So the only way to kind of do something is either we got to go get a star, which we've done that in the past. It hasn't worked. We can agree on that. It really hasn't worked. Or we got to go try and get draft capital because OKC owns freaking 97 of our picks. So it's we had to do something. So to me, we went out and got 2 first-round picks, one this year, one in, I think, 2029, we said, and then 2 second-round picks on top of whatever other picks we have and what we could possibly get back from OKC. So to me, it's yeah, sure, hypothetically, you keep that team together. They could have been scary in the playoffs. They could have played well. But to me, Harden's a curse. He hasn't really done much in the playoffs recently. Kawhi's probably going to get hurt again. Sucks to say. And then then after that, we had nobody. So if we can let these young guys that are playing really well recently get a lot of playing time this year in a season where we're kind of chopping it up, going as I'm hoping we can reach a 8 seed, maybe win a couple playing games, get some playoff experience. Now you have a Darius Garland-led young team with Benedict Mathurin, who's one of the guys that I love that we got in the trade, plus a lot of draft capital coming up and a lot of young guys. It's like, to me, that's a team that looks pretty scary in years to come, depending on who we get in the draft and where our picks lie. And
you need a big star to come in and save
sure,
you.
but there's a ton of stars that are free agents this year.
I think this looks a lot different if you were more of a believer in Cleveland's contendership this year. You know, I mean, with James Harden, this team looks better. I don't think there's a doubt about that. Like, potentially there's an off balance of chemistry compared to Garland, like, obviously. But at the same time, like, you have an upgrade of player, but you don't believe that they're going to contend. Like you said, they're on your pretenders list.
The thing is, we still have Garland's hurt, Kawhi's still not fully healthy, and we're still figuring it out. I think we've hung around with some good teams in some games with our young guys, which is good to see. That's a positive thing. If Garland comes back, which I don't even know if he comes back this year, I think he might be out for the whole year. They might just be sitting.
I think they're just resting him.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I mean, he's hurt. He's technically still hurt.
Yeah, because he has like a toe sprain.
Yeah, and so it's like if he can come back and get some chemistry, sure, maybe we can make a little bit of splash, maybe win a series. Probably not, but it's like, to me, you're cutting your losses here, where we made a horrible trade, horrible decision a few years ago with the Paul George stuff, killed us. Got nothing in return from him and Kawhi. Tried to trade him off, bring in Harden. Had a year last year, injuries again. It's like we just have never been able to crack that code with this. So the only real way to kind of rewrite history and rewrite our wrongs is to completely just cut everybody.
I agree.
Get rid of it. Go old, go out, and that's what we've been. That's what we did. That's what it seems like we're trying to do. Although I will say,
Kawhi.
Kawhi's on his last year, so we might re-sign him, might not. I think, to your point, if Kawhi's healthy, he's a great player.
True.
But he hasn't been able to be that healthy. He's getting old. He's getting up there. It's like you can't play him back to backs. It's like there's all that sort of stuff around him. And from what I've heard inside the organization, having some friends that kind of work there, is the Clippers are aiming to go for a Giannis. Do I love that? No. Is that a big star that we could bring in that might be that centerpiece that we just traded away, and maybe that's what they're kind of do? Sure, maybe. It could be interesting. But it's like there was talk that they wanted to go get him during the trade deadline. Obviously,
that's another thing I want to talk about during the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Is when you talk about losers, Los Angeles Lakers are on that loser list because nothing happened. The Heat are on that loser list. The Warriors are on the loser list for the trade deadline because they went all in for Giannis. They made it clear to their entire roster that you're tradable to go get a Giannis, except for like a few guys, and nothing came out of them. And then
I do think it's good though that they got rid of the Kuminga for Porzingis trade. I think was huge. Because Jonathan Kuminga was not producing in there, didn't like to be there, and you go and get a good big.
They need to change. Don't get me wrong.
They played pretty well in the playoffs last year, so it's like.
But then Giannis, after making it clear that he wanted out, asking for a trade, nothing happening, all these teams trying to get him, the Bucks saying no. He likes to tweet shit like, "Legends don't chase, they attract." But we know damn well you are not staying in Milwaukee next year. You are out of here. And now it's going to be like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Heat are going to sell their soul in the offseason, and they're probably going to give less than what they gave or like what they offered in the trade deadline. You know, Giannis is a hot commodity. Don't get me wrong. Is he
still signed there next year? Or is he a free agent?
He's signed.
Through when?
I think through next year.
Well, he's not a free agent?
No, I don't believe so. But even still, it's like Giannis having the gall to like save face for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, oh, I actually want to rebuild here. It's like, no, the hell you do not. You want out of there just as bad as all these teams want you. And you would make someone an instant contender if you went to, let's say, the Clippers. But I just don't see it. And I don't see teams like Detroit or OKC or San Antonio giving up a young core for Giannis who's, let's be honest, he's aging. He's still playing at a high level. He's in his prime, but he's definitely not as hot of a commodity anymore.
Right.
You know, like he's proven that the loyalty thing is out of the window.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But Lakers, Heat, Warriors, they low-key lost because the non-willingness to go all in for these kind of players.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the other thing, too. I was incorrect earlier in saying that this season was going to be a big offseason for the Clippers. I think that they're rebuilding this year. It's the 2027 offseason.
Yeah.
The group of stars that are free agents that year is nuts. And I mean, some of them are older name. I mean, you have a Giannis, you have a Jokic. Obviously, I don't think Jokic is going to move.
No.
You have Donovan Mitchell, who could possibly move if this team doesn't work out. I could see. I mean, if this year and next year they don't do anything, he's probably going to go. Because like he came there to try and do something. He might take a better offer somewhere else on a team you think he could do. AD doesn't really move me at all with AD. Jimmy Butler kind of doesn't move me as much. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Kyrie, you have Steph Curry, who's a free agent. That's another interesting one that we'll see what happens there. But it's like that is a huge class of veteran guys that you could bring into a young core to bring some veteran presence, and that might change the dynamic of a team. So it's like,
sure.
I think for me, going back to the Clippers, it's like they're doing
them going to that shitty ass organization though is not high.
It ain't no shitty ass organization.
It's pretty bad.
That's crazy.
It's pretty fucking bad.
But I mean, you got like you got even just some of the more role players, like the Zach LaVine is going to be a.
No one wants Zach LaVine, bro.
Well, yeah, but he's still nobody wants him, but he's still a decent player. He's a good guy that can come in and give you good minutes. He's a higher end NBA player than a lot of the guys. You got a Brandon Ingram who's going to be a free agent. So, Kyrie Irving's free agent, but he's still hurt.
I got
Josh
LaVine
Hart,
and DeRozan in the exact
Cat's
same
another
combo.
one. Rudy Gobert's another one. Like there's a lot of guys that could be moving.
Rudy Gobert will be a free agent already after that
2027.
massive contract.
Yeah, same with Cat
Minnesota will look
and
different.
Josh Hart. Like there's a lot of teams are going to look different after 2027.
Wouldn't be
So to me, it's like if you're not a contender this year or next year, it's like you got to be thinking forward a few years.
Well, yeah.
Like we need to go
obviously.
get some picks and we need to clear up some cap space for this class of free agents. It's
I
nuts.
think you're going to be surprised of how many players or how many teams are going to be keeping their draft picks because this freshman class coming up in college is so good.
Sure.
I don't think you're going to see as many trades for that 2027. I mean, some of them might declare already this year, but I think most of them will wait another year. I don't think many draft picks are going to be traded for that year.
Luka's a free agent. Shea's a free agent. Joel Embiid, Jordan Poole, Lauri Markkanen. Yeah, the whole damn NBA is a free agent in 2027.
Yeah,
what the
but
hell
all
is
of
this?
them could easily re-sign within the next year and a half.
Sure, but like they could get an extension for sure.
Like,
and then we
there's
have a
no way
different conversation,
Luka's not walking from the Lakers, bro.
No, probably not. But it's
He's
still
going to
it's
get
pretty
offered
crazy to
way
think
too
like
much money.
yeah, Luka's probably. That's why I said like Luka's probably not moving. Jokic is probably not moving. Those are the two that I'd probably say are for sure untouchable. You could probably argue Steph, but the Warriors are probably going to look to possibly rebuild because they had their era, they had their years. They got to think forward now. But there's just a lot of good talent that could make a splash. It'll be interesting. Be very, very interesting. But as far as this year goes, I mean, I think you're right. You're spot on with who won and lost the trade deadline.
Yeah,
Losers,
I mean,
so we'll see.
the people that choose not to, that need to go all in now with aging stars, the choice not to go all in is bad.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you don't want to give up your future, but at the same time, like, you're just going to remain in mediocrity, exactly like the Lakers are doing right now, which is killing me. So, I mean, it is what it is, but we'll see. We'll see how it shapes up.